Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our 2019 Summer Games Swimming Family webinar. On the call tonight, we have myself, Zachary Cintron, Gene Eisenhower from Montgomery County, and we have Steve Bennett from the state office as well. We're going to work through today this webinar that's being recorded, which is nice because after this is done, we will put it up on our website where you can also get to it again if you need to, if you missed anything or if you thought you misheard something, to double down on the information as well as the slides themselves. So you can just scan through the slide deck if you need to. We'll work through tonight, and some of the topics that we will cover are some general summer games info, some swim competition specific info, spectator family areas so you understand where the best places for you to see competition and wait during the day is, family services and merchandise locations that you'll have access to, food options, hospitality and housing, and then at the end we will take your questions. If you have a question through the GoToWebinar service, you can either type in your questions in the question field, or there's a little raise your hand button that you can pick as well. If you decide to raise your hand, what we will do is at the end of the slides, we will go through and we will unmute people that have their hands raised so they can ask their questions. So we will move on into general summer games info. Again, Summer Games, Towson University. The main address for Towson is that 8000 York Road location. Additionally, there is one off-site venue for softball, Cockeysville Middle School, not too far, and that's the address if for some reason you are interested in going to softball. The short condensed schedule, just so you have an idea, is on Friday we will have swimming competition as well as cheerleading will have competition that day as well. In the evening / late afternoon, block party happens, which leads up to the law enforcement torch run and opening ceremonies. Going into Saturday, we have competition all day. Athletics and bocce begin their competition as well. And then in the evening, there's the Olympic celebration and the delegation dance. Sunday, we start wrapping up competition at all the venues, and then there's closing ceremonies at respective venues. And so also, if you can see that we have the map there that's labeled, there's a bigger version of that map available on the SOMD website. If you go to the coaches section under resources, there's a specific summer games page which will have things like that. So if you want to see a bigger blown up version of that, you can find that on the coaches resource page on our website. Going into opening ceremonies just a little bit for you here. It's held in the CQ Arena, again at that same main Towson location. If you are looking at the map on this page as well, the CQ Arena is down towards the southwest corner down here, nearest lot 21. Which will give you a little bit of an idea of what you're looking for at that point. So the main thing that you want to know is that we're starting approximately at 7:30 p.m. for opening ceremonies, and the approximate end time is roughly 9 p.m. Delegations will arrive in their specific shirts that are given to their HOGs at registrations. The parade of athletes this year will be in a representative format for 2019. And just to give you a short idea of what that is, instead of parading every single athlete and coach in, which makes our initial parade of athletes and opening ceremonies, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, this is a condensed representative format where there'll be a couple coaches and athletes that come in that represent each delegation, and their delegation members can cheer them on from seated areas. The bag policy, just a heads up for you, is a sports arena, and a lot of sports arenas are going to specific bag policies. It must be smaller than 22 by 12 by 8. I would think most purses fall into that idea, so I don't think you have to worry about that. Backpacks may be a little iffy, so you may want to play it safe there. There's a link above if you want to use that to see more info on permitted, prohibited items for the CQ Arena. But if you've gone to a sporting event, it's pretty much the same as any other sporting event that you would technically go to at this point. Yep.
And they will also, those of you who attended last year, we anticipate it being the similar as far as security goes when you come in to go through the wanded, be a wanded or walk through one of the detector gates. So just be prepared for that. If you don't want to lose your knives or anything like that, leave them in your cars.
Thanks, Steve. Block party, again, will run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's kind of the fun and entertainment for athletes, families, coaches, leading up to opening ceremonies. Spectators, we're going to take and start leading into CQ Arena to get ready for opening ceremonies about 6:30, 7 o'clock. People can start trickling in to find seats and get set up at that point.
And just be mindful, we're still working through some of the details, but we will have designated seating areas for each of the delegations that are not participating in the parade. The delegations will come in and have be pre-seated. So as family members coming in, just know that those delegation seats are strictly for the delegation members. That's not for families. You guys will have other seats available to you in the arena, but they're looking at those seats would be strictly based on the count that the heads of delegation have provided us for their county. We'll have that many amount of chairs designated for each county. So if you say, I'm a family member, oh, there's Howard County, I'm going to go sit with the delegation. Just know if you do that, then a coach or an athlete will not be able to sit there. So just be mindful of that as well. Thank you.
All right. On to our next slide here. Some swimming specific information. The main reason most of you have joined us tonight is for swimming. Again, a quick rundown of our competition schedule. Friday, June 7th. I got my days a little mixed up here. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're running a short afternoon session to thin out our numbers through the weekend, to make it less packed in the gym, and to make it a little less chaotic on you and your athletes for this weekend. Saturday, June 8th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. start. This is our biggest day. This is the bulk of our swimming. This we technically have broken down into a morning and afternoon session. There is an hour break in between. So it seems like a long day, but it's kind of 3.5 hour swim times at that point. And then Sunday again, we start wrapping things up at 8 a.m. To 3 p.m. That's when we kind of close everything out, and we should be done hopefully by 3. Sometimes it can run a little bit over, depending on how schedules go. Something else just to keep in mind with the schedule, if for some reason we have crazy weather, we have rain, some thunder and lightning like we've been having this week recently, we do have to pull people out of the pool based on lightning strikes and distance and stuff like that. So we will announce that and keep everyone in the loop as best as possible if that scenario comes up. But please just be prepared in case that scenario does come up. Below that schedule, just so you can get a little idea, you realistically do not need to be within this path. This is the path the athletes will be taking in and out of the pool and back into the gyms for awards. Again, there's blown up versions of this on our swimming coaches page as well. But if you look in Gym 2, which is the gym between the blue and the red line, that's where most of the delegations will be sat, and awards will be in Gym 1, where the red line ends from the pool. Some additional competition questions are asked. Sometimes people ask, what time will their athlete be swimming? Again, our races are based on heats, and they're run by order of events that we've shared with coaches and delegations, which they can share with you on site at the venue. We will also have big blown up versions of the order of events on the walls, so you have an idea. And again, the athletes are divisioned typically from the slowest qualifying times to the fastest qualifying times. And we are also going to be posting what divisions and what events we are trying to run as best as possible at staging and on whiteboards as well. Additionally, this year, we are looking to offer a live stream of the pool, which will also keep you in the loop on where we're at for things if you're in the gymnasium. Next question from that is, where can I sit and watch my athlete? The best place to watch your athletes is from the gallery above the pool deck, which is accessible by the main hallway between the gym and the pool. This is definitely the best place to watch your athletes, but at the same time, it's the best place to come in, see your athlete, race their race, maybe a race before, a race after, worst case scenario, and head back out into the gyms because we want to get as many families in to see their own athletes as possible. It's too tough to let people hunker down in there for the day because then not everybody gets to see their athlete swim, and we want to afford that opportunity to every family possible. Again, with the live stream, which is nice, is you can see it there as well. So even if you're waiting for your athlete to swim and you're worried about seeing 2 races before that, you can catch that on the live stream and then bump in right for your athlete's event, catch them, head back out of the gallery. When it comes to finding your team, all delegations will be assigned gym space within Gym 2 or the back of 1. We're going to have a few teams in there as well while waiting for their events. Also, there will be a few classroom spaces available down the hallway, which will be noted by chloroplast signs that'll give you directions down there. There will be a few delegations in those classrooms that have chosen to take some classroom space to thin out the gym clutter as well. They will also have gym space if they ask for a classroom, so there's no need to worry about losing gym space. They have the opportunity for both. The final one, which is always the big one, is where and when will my athlete be awarded? Awards happen in Gym 1, and the biggest thing is that athletes will be awarded as soon as their race is finished, and they'll be taken from the pool directly to award staging. So that's the biggest reason I put in that little map on this page, is because you can see where the athletes enter once they swim. When they exit, they got to exit the pool, walk in the hallway, and then once they get to awards, they can then sit down and get staged, get their awards, and then they'll be turned back to their coaches. Additionally, a note for the gyms, this year we will be bringing in plenty of chairs for athletes, coaches, families, delegations overall to sit in. You cannot bring your own outdoor kind of chairs in. There's a very large tarp that they put down over the gym, and we just want to make sure that we protect that tarp as much as we can because that is Towson's property, and we thank them for letting us use it. As mentioned before, with the order of events, this is the order of events schedule that all the coaches have seen and that has gone out. They will get that again in their packets. And additionally, like I said, this will be blown up and on the walls. So you can see where the events are. It doesn't necessarily tell you exactly what heat is being run for that event at what time, but you can kind of get a general idea of how things are going to go. We won't differentiate from this order at all unless there's a major emergency or something that changes our time frame. But this is going to give you the best idea possible of what the game plan is and where your athlete in a time frame should be swimming. Spectator and family areas. Primary seating, again, if you are going to watch directly in the pool, the gallery is the best place to be. There will be no families on the deck. We have very limited coaches in the first place on the deck. We try to keep mostly our management team and the athletes on the deck so that we can keep things running nice and smooth. The gallery is a very great location at Towson University. If you haven't been there, you oversee the whole pool, and there's nothing that you'll miss there. Again, the gallery is meant for spectators to grab a spot just for their athlete's race. We don't want people to sit down and spend the whole day there because, again, we want to afford the opportunity to all families to see their athletes swim and compete that day. We will have security in the gallery to keep order, keep things moving if they need to. Again, the best day scenario for the security people, they don't have to say anything to anyone. They don't have to tell people to move or do anything. Again, they're just there to help keep the order and allow everybody to see their own athletes swim. One of the biggest things in the gallery, please do not stand in the aisles of the gallery. They must stay open for safety reasons. And if you are in the aisles, or even if you see somebody in the aisle, that's part of your delegation or a family member, just remind them, hey, make sure you're not in the aisle. Let's grab a seat. Or ask somebody to slide down, scooch together. to get a seat in the actual stands themselves. Again, if security, Towson staff, SOMD staff, coach from a delegation asks you to please vacate the aisle, please do so. It's not a disrespect thing for them to try to vacate you from the gallery. It's a safety thing overall. Again, SOMD and Towson University have zero tolerance for noncompliance with the safety rules and regulations set by the university and fire marshal. Those that persist with noncompliance of the rules will be expelled from the venue and potentially summer games as a whole. Again, so if somebody asks you nicely to vacate the aisle or just do something small, please do it. If there seems to be a real issue, please connect with your delegation's head coach or your delegation's HOD. They will then bring that to a SOMD staff member, a Towson staff member, or somebody that we can work out the difference with. At the end of the day, we want everybody to have a great opportunity, great experience there. So we're more than willing to talk things out at the end of the day. We just want to keep everybody in a safe environment to see their athletes and enjoy the weekend.
And the reason why Zach is stressing that so strongly is last year we did have an issue where there were some individuals that were disrespecting Towson University staff to the point that they raised it to our attention, and that's why these measures are being put in place. So again, obviously we always say the family code of conduct, respect for all, etc. So again, we just expect everyone to be mindful and respectful, like Zach was saying, in regards to management personnel, volunteers, other family members, coaches, and Towson University. So, we won't hesitate if an issue comes up like last year, where it was pretty egregious. But we will have that option to remove you via security. So no one wants that to happen, but we just want everyone to be aware of that.
Thanks, Steve. We're going to move on quickly to family services and merch. There will be a family services and merch tent out in the Tiger Plaza, which if you look at the map below, it's the blue circle there. And so that'll be there from 9 a.m. to I believe it's 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Additionally, there'll be merch there, and the same things will be available at the block party leading up to opening ceremonies on Friday evening if you miss it, and won't be around for Saturday, Sunday as well. I believe, and Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong, with family services, they usually offer some sort of drinks, maybe some snacks, a lot of information for the weekend. And it's also a good opportunity that if things seem to be getting a little crowded at the pool and you're waiting a while for your athlete to swim, bocce will also be out on Burdick Field right outside this year. So you can go out and watch a little bocce too. You can actually see bocce very well from the overlook right outside of Burdick Hall next to the Tiger Plaza. So it's a good opportunity there. That's it on family services for us. Family services reception. So for all of our big state events, we always have a family services reception. This goes hand in hand with the athlete dance, and it gives you an opportunity to meet with other parents, get to talk a little bit, get a little bit of a break from the day if you've been there all day. And so the family reception will be located on the concourse of the CQ Arena where opening ceremonies is.
That's the current plan right now. However, there is an option that we're looking at that most likely this will be moved to the University Union in the Pauls area, which is the lower level. We're verifying that right now with Towson. Again, that's for families. Those of you who are at Winter Games and attended, it's a social atmosphere, social activities for families to talk. But yeah, we are looking at moving that from the CQ concourse where it has been in the past to the University Union lower level in the pause, what they call the pause cafeteria area.
And the planned run time is from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. What will be offered there? Food, I believe last year it was Chick-fil-A, and the game plan is for it to be Chick-fil-A again. There's desserts, some door prizes, some silent auction stuff. There's plenty of things for you to enjoy And again, it's a great opportunity to take a break from the day. If you're going to be there all weekend for summer games, I highly recommend the family services reception because, again, it's a nice break in the evening, mix, mingle, talk with other parents, and it's just a good time in general.
And just a reminder, and I was answering another question, so I apologize if Zach mentioned this, but this is for family members. This is not where athletes and partners attend. This is strictly designated for families. So athletes and partners and everybody else should be up at the dance and enjoying their time with their peers. And this gives family members an opportunity, like we were saying, to socialize with each other and let the athletes and partners be with their peers and enjoy the time.
All right. So for food options, meal options during the day. Got to go back one side. So meals for athletes and coaches will come through their registration for summer games. If an athlete, coach, HOD member is registered for the games by the deadline of this week, they will have their meals taken care of on site during the games. With that said, meals for families is not included in that delegation grouping. Spectators and families are on their own for meals. There will be some venues that offer concessions. For the swimming venues specifically, there are vending machines that are up and running, and there is a good smoothie bar that you have access to. With that said, you can also pack your own lunch. I always recommend the good old cooler in the car approach. Did that growing up myself, so that's the best way to go in my opinion. Again, there's some other options, especially at Block Party and Olympic Park. There's going to be a Kona Ice, Famous Dave's, and Jimmy's Famous Seafood, from what I understand at this point. So you will have access to those at Block Party and Olympic Park. But if it's not Olympic Park hours or at Block Party, and you're not feeling the smoothie or the vending machines at Burdick Hall and you didn't have a chance to pack lunch, this next slide gives you some recommendations for local restaurants in the area. There's plenty in the area that you have access to, and they're not too far away. So these are the ones we recommend, and of course you can use good old Google to find yourself a location as well.
And just a note on this one, and we'll look to correct this when we do the slides. Bill Bateman's used to be one of the hangouts and local restaurants there. It is no longer in existence. Towson has expanded some of their operations, and Bill Bateman's is no longer available on campus. So just to make a note of that, I know some people really like Bill Bateman's, as did I, but it is no longer available this year, just to make a note of that.
Hotels and housing, again, along with the registration of athletes, coaches, HOD members as a delegation for summer games, depending on that delegation's particular choice, they will have housing if they're planning to stay the whole weekend. But that, again, does not include family members or spectators. These are some local lodging and hotel options for you if you're planning to stay the weekend. I know a lot of people come day to day, so this won't be an issue for most people. But if you are looking for something, these are potentially the ones that we would recommend in the area. That is all that we have to throw out there. If you have questions, we would be more than welcome to answer them. All right, we have Susan. Susan, you are good to go. You are off mute.
Thank you. This is Candy Holland. So you're saying that the family reception or the family hospitality area is outside of Burdick Hall?
Yes, yes. It is over at Paws, which...
No. I'm sorry.
The hospitality
itself. Yes, it is outside. It is on the Tiger lawn. If you walk down the main hallway through Burdick Hall, through their rec facility there, it will put you right outside next to the lawn. So it's maybe a worst case 100-yard walk.
I know where it is.
Gotcha.
I'm just confirmed. It's outside. What if it's raining?
It's in a tent.
Okay. And then And I think I'm correct in saying that there will be families will not be able to purchase lunches at Burdick. Is that correct?
Not through the lunches that are given out to delegations, and for that, no. So yeah, we want to plan on families, like Zach was saying, to bring their own, or there are options if they want to go up to the smoothie bar and stuff like that. It is a very limited menu there. They could also look in the University Union for being a regular customer off the street, whatever. They can go in there and look for that. So there are other options. We are encouraging people to bring their own.
Okay, and just to clarify, is there a reason that that's been changed? Because that, and is it clear for all family members other than just being on the webinar, because they have, in years past, have been able to purchase a lunch?
Yeah, the reason is there's a lot of construction and a lot of changes to the different dining areas. So the staffing of that is very tight right now. So that's why that decision has been made. We didn't want to guarantee or have families plan on buying the lunches like has been done in the past, not knowing 100% that we could make that available.
Okay, and then one more question: the family reception, is it going to be widely publicized that the potential change to pause is as opposed to the CQ Arena, because that was very convenient for family members, because they could they could come to the reception, but they also had the opportunity to sort of stop in and see the dance. So is that going to be made? Is there going to be a family fax sent out so that people really understand some of these changes?
I know that Jeff is currently working on distributing things out to the families. So yes, it will be notified. We've also mentioned it in all of the preseason webinars, the pre-competition webinars before the games, as well as with the HOD and the event guide, and all of that will be available on our website as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question, and this will be a good one for Steve to chime into as well. Will swimmers on Friday be able to check into dorms before swimming?
We will double check with that. I know that the head of delegations, will receive all of their keys on Thursday. So the possibility does exist, but that's something that the family members will need to work out with their coaches and the head of delegation. So well, all I can say is the possibility exists, but that's going to be up to the coaches and delegation members to work out amongst themselves, as they will have the keys. So that's just a timing issue that you'll have to work out with your coach and the head of delegation.
And then we had two questions based on chairs in the gymnasium. To clarify again, you cannot bring in your own chairs. That has to do with, again, that large tarp that covers the floor for Towson. We had an issue last year where it got ripped in some capacity, and we just want to protect that as much as possible. Again, we thoroughly appreciate Towson allowing us to use the facility, allowing us to use their tarp to protect their basketball floors. And the best way to do that is for us to bring in the chairs specifically. And then the question was, what kind of chairs will be brought in? We are bringing in the pretty standard folding chairs that you would see at any event, rental, wedding, whatever kind of event you go to. They're standard white folding chairs typically. And as a continuation question, can we sit in the hallway? Can we sit in the hall against the wall, or the space looking down on the gym? I don't know if we'll have access to the space above the gym. I don't believe that we've had access to that before. I can double check if we feel like that may be a benefit. I'm not sure if Towson will grant that. But you can sit in the hallway to a certain point. We can't have people blocking entryways and exitways. I know there is some natural hallway seating that's built into Towson, itself. But again, in the hallway, you're going to find where we'll be distributing lunch in the main lobby there. The restrooms are there, and then the hallway to the classrooms are there. So again, for safety's sake, we don't want people cluttering up the hallways. We prefer you to stay in the gym or in your delegation's classroom space. And if you have a question about if your delegation has classroom space, please talk to your swim coach or your HOD for your delegation. They are the ones who put in the request for that. I believe we have another question. Is it possible to put the swimming schedule slide back up, events and approximate times? I can definitely put that slide back up for you if you want to get an idea of where your athlete may be swimming. Again, it's not going to have approximate times because, just for an example, Saturday AM, we start at 8 o'clock. We start with the 800 freestyle. That's one of our longer races. That can take anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the swimmers that enter that race sometimes. But as we get the entry times, we will get a better idea, and we will pass along as much information to your coaches and HODs for timing as much as possible. But again, looking at this event order, you can kind of get an idea of during the day, if you say even each event is 45 minutes, you can kind of get an idea of where your athlete will be swimming. But better than anything, you just know which order they'll be coming up in. Parking restrictions. Yep.
Yeah, the Towson Town Boulevard parking garage, which comes right off of Towson Town Boulevard, imagine that, is right there by Burdick Hall, where the swimming competition venue. That's where we're directing most people to park there. Saturday and Sunday, there is no need for parking passes. That garage will be completely open, as will the University Union garage, which is a short distance and a walk to Burdick Hall as well. So both of those parking garages, we're asking some of our volunteers and families and spectators for both bocce and swimming to use those two. Again, for swimming, priority for you guys would be the closest one, which is Towson Town Boulevard parking garage. You walk out of that garage, you come right across the Tiger Plaza where the statue is. That's where families hospitality will be and merchandise, and then right into the gym for competition.
Before we release this slide deck on the website, I will add a specific parking slide for everyone that reminds you of the Friday versus Saturday and Sunday paid parking versus you don't have to pay on Saturday, Sunday, and also a map so you have a visual of it. It's on most of the other maps, but I'll get a more specific one on there for you. Do the athlete members hang out with family, or do the athletes hang out with family members between events, and where do they hang out? Very good question. If they have time between their events, they are more than welcome to hang out with family members. And again, athletes, coaches, delegations in general, along with family members, will have specific sections in Gymnasium 2 and the back end of Gym 1 designated for them, or the classroom spaces. Family members are more than welcome to spend time with their athletes in there. But just be prepared. Again, the gym gets a little crowded at times, but with the order of events and the way we've spread things out this year, we're hoping it won't be as condensed and busy in the gymnasiums. A parent needs to stay with our son on the swim deck. Let's touch base on this issue. If you have a question, and this one is from Amanda Pizza, if you can email me, I will touch base with you and we can connect on specifically an answer to this question for you. And if you need to reach any of us, again, the best way is to connect with your head coach or your HOD and work through them to connect with us at the state level to work out any situations that you may have. So Amanda, touch base with your head coach or your HOD and have them communicate with us anything that you may need for your athlete specifically. Is there a mobile app to receive messages on the swim schedule in real time? Yes. We will be using the Remind app again as well. That information will be going out soon to coaches and programs, which they will pass along to you. We will also have that information available at the facility day of as well. If you forget or you need to be reminded of how to use the Remind app. And so that app, again, will give you a better idea along with the order of events of what to expect and when to potentially expect your athletes to be swimming that day. Do we have any other hands raised? That seems to be all of our questions.
Zach, this is Jean. I have a question regarding the longest two events.
Mm-hmm.
For the 800 and the 1500, we usually use counters for the laps, and the swimmers in the past have chosen a family member to be on deck to use the counters. Is that still the same this year?
I would have to confirm that with Neil, but I think with the one deck pass that we give out, we would prefer it to be one of the coaches or somebody directly from the delegation. Let me touch base directly with Neil, and then I can get you a specific answer on that.
Great, thank you.
You are welcome. Let me check the questions one last time. I do not see any questions. But if you have a question that pops up, if you think of it tonight or you think of it tomorrow or it comes along the line, again, touch base with your head coach or your HOD first. They may have the answer for you based on other information that's come to them. And if not, they will touch base with us at the state office. And again, if you want to touch base, that's the best method to go through because your coaches and HOD may have that information right off the top of their head.
Also, I want to thank all of the family members who have taken time to be on this call and gather the information and prepare yourselves for the summer games. And not only that, but thank you guys for everything you do on a year-round basis, supporting the athletes and giving them the opportunity to showcase their skills and enjoy Special Olympics and be part of the great organization. So we never want to let that go unsaid. So again, just thank you guys for your support of Special Olympics Maryland and obviously the athletes.
All right. Again, thank you very much and have a great night.